Let's be real. Manifestation can feel somewhat confusing. One person's telling you, just visualize. Another person's telling you, just raise your vibration. And then Joe Dispenza comes in talking about quantum fields and rewiring your brain. And you're like, okay, but how does this actually help me create the life that I want for myself? And that's exactly what I'm going to break down today for you. Now, Joe Dispenza's work has gone viral for many reasons. People swear that he has helped them completely heal their bodies, manifest huge amounts of wealth, and completely change their lives, all just by using his techniques. But if truth be told, his techniques can feel somewhat overwhelming. You know, it's like a mix of neuroscience and meditation and then spirituality all wrapped in one. So in this video today, I'm actually going to debunk it all and kind of give you the degree in Joe Dispenza's manifestation technique, the cheat sheet, if you would. Okay, so let's get into it. Okay, so here is the heart of Joe Dispenza's work in plain, simple English. Your body has no idea between the difference of you living something in real time right now and you vividly imagining something. I mean, think about it. Have you ever replayed an argument in your head in the shower and all of a sudden your heart starts racing all over again? Of course, that's your body and your brain reacting as if it's happening in real time. And Joe Dispenza's whole thing is that most of us are actually living on repeat. We keep thinking the same thoughts, which then go on to trigger the same emotions, which keep our bodies stuck in the past. So therefore, if you want to manifest something new, if you want to manifest something way bigger, we need to teach ourselves to rehearse the future instead and not live on repeat, not live in the past. And the way that we actually go on to do this is to combine thought plus emotion plus repetition. When you imagine your future, and more importantly, when you feel your future in your body already, you start to rewire your brain and condition your nervous system to believe it's already here, it's already true. And that's how we get our outer reality to completely shift. But I think one of the biggest questions in all of this when you're researching Joe Dispenza's work is, okay, but how do I actually do it? How do I actually do his method? So let me break it down in the most simplest of forms that I can possibly think of. Step one, you need to get out of survival mode. Because let's be honest, most of us are living on autopilot. We're stressing, we're rushing, we're overthinking. We're keeping our brain in high alert, and that is not the state that we want to be in when we want to create something new for ourselves. In fact, it's probably the worst state to be in. That's why the first step in this would be to slow down, to close your eyes, to take deep breaths, and to go inwards. I mean, you're basically telling your body, hey, it's okay, we're safe now. And when you do that, your brainwaves naturally go from frantic to relaxed, which is going to make it way easier for you to go on to then reprogram yourself. And then step two would be to create elevated emotions. I mean, that is the secret sauce, because you can't sit there and vividly imagine your future life when you are still anxious or doubtful because your body's just not going to buy it. Instead, I need you to pick an elevated emotion. It could be gratitude, it could be love, it could be joy, whichever one. Even if you just feel it for a few seconds, that's enough. But we want to train our body. We want to rehearse these elevated emotions whilst visualizing our future self. And in saying that, step three would be to rehearse your future. You've got out of survival mode, you've slowed the body down, you've calmed it down, you've picked an elevated emotion. Great, now bring in the vision. But don't just see it like a movie in your head. Step into it, feel what it feels like to walk around in your dream home. Feel what it feels like to be financially free. Feel like it feels to wake up perfectly healthy and in perfect condition. The key is always adding emotion to the vision. And neuroscience shows this. It shows that emotion is actually what rewires new neural circuits. Basically, the stronger the feeling, the quicker your brain is going to accept this reality. And then the last step, step four, would be to let it go. And this has got to be one of the hardest parts in manifestation. Okay, once you've seen it, once you've felt it, now let it go, release it. I need you to not obsess over the how and the when this thing is going to happen. Because the second you start doubting that, your body is just screaming out to the universe, to the quantum field, to energetically, frequently, that it's still not here yet. Joe calls this surrender into the unknown. And it's true, because most studies go on to show that those people who get the most results are those who did surrender into this feeling, who did rehearse this feeling and trust the timing of how everything else plays out. So the formula is simple. Calm the body, pick an elevated emotion, rehearse your future, and then let it go. That's it. And when you practice that consistently, you're going to notice real shifts in how you think and how you feel and what goes on to show up in your life. Now, it's all good in me saying, okay, just do all these little steps. But how does this actually work in your body? How does this actually work in you creating the life that you want for yourself? Because as much as I love to talk about all this stuff, sometimes it can come across a bit wishy-washy, and I'm not here for that. I'm here to give you the science background of it. I'm here to give you the facts. I'm here to give you the psychology of it and how it's actually working in your body. Okay, first up, neuroplasticity. Your brain is not fixed. It's like Play-Doh. Every time you think a new thought and you pair it with an emotion, you go on to wire new connections. It's actually the same principle that athletes use with mental rehearsal. Studies showed that basketball players who went on to only mentally rehearse free throws improved almost as much as those who actually physically practiced them. Your brain doesn't care if it's real or imagined. It rewires anyway. Then second, emotions talk to your body. There's an entire field of body-mind medicine that is doing the research on how your thoughts and how your emotions directly impact your health. I mean, for example, people who practice loving kindness meditation actually show to have stronger immune responses. So that means the way that you feel is not just in your head, it directly impacts your health. And then thirdly, let's talk about the placebo effect. This is science proof that belief alone can change your body. Those who get given sugar pills heal and miraculously become better because they expected to. And with Joe Dispenza's work, he's basically training you to become your own placebo, to use thought and emotion on purpose instead of waiting for the physical proof to show up. And then finally, there is the quantum perspective. The observer effect in quantum physics actually shows that the act of observation changes the outcomes. It heavily influences it, to be honest. Basically, where you put your focus matters, because focused attention goes on to change what is possible for you. So when you put this all together, rewiring your brain, changing your body's biology through emotion, and focusing your attention on a new future, you do all that and you show up and you stay consistent to the point where your body and mind believes it, you are guaranteed results. So what does that look like in real life? So at Joe Dispenza events, you've heard of people who have been told by doctors, who have been told by many medical professions that they'll never walk again. Those people who have gone on to regain movement after mentally rehearsing this every day for so long, because their brain literally taught their body what was possible. Other people have used it for business. People have gone on from a scarcity mindset to mentally rehearsing what it would feel like to be abundant already, what it would feel and look like for them to be fully financially free and abundant already. And then within months, they're taking these massive, bold actions that before they would have never dared of doing. And of course, the result of that is money flowing straight into their lives. Now, don't get me wrong, none of these success stories that you hear at Joe Dispenza's events happen overnight necessarily. Some of them happen a lot sooner than you would think because their belief system accepts that it's possible to happen that soon. But my point is, you can't just start this and then quit a few days later because you're going to miss the entire point of this work. Now, I can already hear some people saying, but I can't meditate. Listen, that's fine. You don't need to be perfect. Even 10 minutes of heart breathing a day will absolutely make shifts in your baseline energetically. Start there and gradually work your way up if that needs to be the case. Nothing's happening. Yeah, well, that's because you're checking. But also, that's so normal. Would you be checking the mirror after one gym session expecting you to look completely different? No, because it always starts within the inside before you see it on the outside. Do I need Joe Dispenza's exact tracks? Now, I'm going to say no. What I think is important and what I think is non-negotiable in this work is that you follow the formula. You calm the body. You choose an elevated, a higher emotion. You rehearse your future and then you let it go. Everything else is just packaging, in my opinion. But I will say you need to stay consistent in this. Now I'm going to close with this. Joe always says, don't wait for your healing to feel whole. Don't wait for your success to feel abundant. Don't wait for your relationship to feel love. And that's really the heart of all of his work. Because most people are actually living backwards. We're waiting for that thing to show up into our external reality before we allow ourselves to feel it. But the secret sauce is that when you feel it first, you become magnetic to that thing and draw it into your reality. So do that instead. As always, if you like this kind of content, then I'm going to ask you from my heart, then please subscribe. Please like, please leave a comment, and let's become friends. But as always, I will see you soon.